Hello everyone. Today we have with us the wonderful Akash Patel. So Akash, let us begin with you telling our listeners a bit about your work.
Good morning, Rupal, and it's indeed an honor, a pleasure to be with a 16-year-old passionate blogger from India, and I think you're from Gurgaon.
Yep.
So it's very hard to find 16-year-old passionate teenagers these days. Teenagers like you, teenagers like me, and the hundreds of teenagers that you have on your blog. It's very inspiring to see all these folks, and this age is particularly important to me because 16 was the age when I learned to be compassionate towards the society. 16 was an age when I learned to give back to the community. That is the age when I started my career as a motivational speaker. That is also an age when I started my career as a young opinion journalist for the Times of India. So that was an age, it's teenage, as all of us know. At 16 is when people really, people really don't take us as very important folks. We are always considered as someone, who just does things for fun, for frolic. But that was an age when I started my career as a social worker. So since then, I have reached out to over 100,000 kids in India, as well as in the United States, in states of Iowa, in the state of Oklahoma. I've been to a lot of schools. I speak about culture. I speak about motivation. I speak about tolerance. Sorry. So I speak about tolerance, and above all, I speak about motivation, because motivation is one thing that most of the teenagers crave for these days, because they're so stressed. And it's not only teenagers, it's parents, it's jail inmates, it's industrialists, it's every human being who needs motivation. So I reached out to children, I reached out to teachers, and slowly I reached out to doctors, industrialists, professionals, media persons, and even the jails in India. So it was indeed an experience at the age of 16, 17, and 18 when I was back in India to speak with so many people. And now that I'm here in the US, I have worked as a nuclear energy policy intern for one of the former federal employees and MIT professor, Dr. Carolyn Heisen, when I visited India on a business trip. And we visited universities like IIT, we visited BITS Pilani, BITS Goa, and we got an opportunity to speak on clean energy policy, which is also another issue that is very crucial and very important to me, because I think, we're going to run out of oil one of these days, and we need to find some renewable sources of energy, and nuclear energy is one of those. So I got that opportunity. Then I worked for US Cellular as a brand ambassador, and I worked as an international student ambassador for the universities that I have studied at. And in the future, my plan is to be a United Nations ambassador, which I would slowly try to reach to after I get into law school.
That's great.
And thank you again for your time, and I'll be open to any questions at your end.
So did you always know what you were going to do since you were a kid?
Well, that's a very good question. I get that question a lot, and I feel that I did not know anything about my future, and I left it all on destiny. After all, you can create your own destiny, but I never knew what I would be doing with my life. I never knew that I would be a motivational speaker. I never knew I would write for the Times at the age of 16. That was just something that, destiny brought to me. So I think it's all destiny's game. I did not know anything about it.
That just sounds so wonderful, writing for Times at age 16. It's like, I don't know how you did it, but thumbs up for whatever you did.
There's a lot of other kids that worked with me. I think it was a year venture. I remember that venture. In the state of Maharashtra, they selected about 16 students, 16 such passionate youngsters who wanted to write at a tender age. And I appreciate their effort as well, because I got to know that there are other people like me in this world. Not all teenagers are just into smoking, drinking, or any other vices, but there are a lot of teenagers who want to give back to the community.
You are a very down-to-earth person, very humble, very honest. What is it that keeps you that way, in spite of having so much done?
Well, pride always comes with a fall. So, I since I was small, I come from a middle class family, and
Mm-hmm.
then my grandparents had to work right from the scratch, and then we we grew slowly, slowly, slowly. We expanded our businesses, and from a middle class family to a rich family, the transition for me, I have seen. A lot of different phases because I was in real small houses, then I would live in real big house,
Mm-hmm.
and I would live with all the riches. But
Mm-hmm.
I've always learned one thing, that in this process of, in this transition from being poor to rich,
Mm-hmm.
I learned a lot of things. My mom taught me humility. That is the most important thing that she taught me. She taught me to bow in India to all the older people as we usually do. So bowing really helped me being humble, and being more and more down to earth. So my teacher was another person who would make us bow always to all our elders. So that's how I gathered humility, and I think I just get along well with
Mm-hmm.
most of the humble people in life. I really
Mm-hmm.
don't like people who are braggarts and who want to brag about their possessions, because
Mm-hmm.
I never brag about my possessions, and neither do I have a lot of possessions. So I think my mom's humility and bowing to my elders really helped me in the long run to be humble.
Hats off to your mom and to your teachers for that. I have been talking to your mom quite many times. She is
Uh-huh.
definitely a really nice lady.
Oh yeah, she is. She's the most important person of my life.
Moms are always very important for everyone. So
Yeah, you're right.
what kind of people do you exactly admire the most? Names are always welcome.
Well, what kind of people I admire? The kind of people that I admire are humble people.
Mm-hmm.
People who do not procrastinate, and people who do things in time. I definitely, I'm kind of an extrovert, and I am very, very particular about time and managing my own time. I do not like people who procrastinate a lot. I know that there are people out there who procrastinate. I'm
Mm-hmm.
tolerant towards those people, but people that I like and people that I admire
Mm-hmm.
would be people who do not procrastinate and are down to earth. So the most important person in my life, as I told you, is my mom, who shaped my life, who shaped
Mm-hmm.
my destiny.
Mm-hmm.
She spent years to educate me and my twin brother. Had it
Mm-hmm.
not been her, I wouldn't have been where I am today.
Hats off to everyone's mom. So from where do you draw the energy to be so dynamic?
Well, I draw my energy, I would say, particularly from handicapped kids. That
Mm-hmm.
had been a very important portion of my presentations back in India when I would deliver talks on motivation. All these kids were very important to me. Now,
Mm-hmm.
you know about people who are into palmistry, people who want to get their palms read by specialists and they want to know their
Mm-hmm.
future.
Mm-hmm.
So I would
Mm-hmm.
always mention this quote while speaking about all these handicapped people.
Mm-hmm.
Don't believe what the lines of your hand predict about your future.
Mm-hmm.
Don't believe what the lines of your hand predict about your future.
Mm-hmm.
Because people who don't have hands also have a future. So believe in the magic of passion. People who don't have hands, even they have a future. So we don't believe in palmistry. People like me really, I just rubbish the concept of palmistry. I do not believe in it because there are so many thousands and thousands of people out there who live without hands, who can
Mm-hmm.
still do things like a normal person without hands and legs.
Mm-hmm.
And the most importantly, there has been one teenager from Australia. His name is Nick Wujik. He's extremely popular around the
Mm-hmm.
globe as a motivational speaker because he's a man with no arms and no legs. And still, he can swim, he can eat his food, he can brush, he can do everything in life. And there's another teenager, Jessica Cox, who has
Mm-hmm.
also been an inspiration to me because she is a woman without her arms. She's an armless woman, and she's the first woman to be a pilot.
Mm-hmm. That's amazing.
We just can imagine people without arms being pilots. So that when I see such people, I feel I'm so gifted, I'm so blessed, I have everything in life. Why
Mm-hmm.
can't I do? Why can't I do things with efforts? When I have everything, why can't I do something at least that would contribute to the society? So that's how
Whenever,
I started them.
go ahead, go ahead.
So yeah, that's how I started. That's how I drew the inspiration from these kids. That when these kids can be an inspiration to thousands and thousands of kids around the globe,
Mm-hmm.
me as a 16-year-old, what am I doing to give back to the society? And I felt a responsibility towards society. That
Mm-hmm.
there's nobody doing things towards society. Let me start, and then I would probably be an inspiration to my colleagues.
That you sure are.
Oh, thank you.
Whenever you have any downtime, whenever you're feeling like, you want to do something and not being able to do it, what is it that keeps you up at such a time?
Well, at such a time, again, it is these people who keep me up. It is all these people like Nick Wojcik, people like Jessica Cox, and there's
Mm-hmm.
hundreds and hundreds of other handicapped, visually challenged people that I met back in India. And hope is what runs their life, and that is the hope that I draw from their lives to run my own life. And I've really never been, really never been very frustrated with my life, or
Mm-hmm.
maybe in depression or in a nervous breakdown. But
Mm-hmm.
whenever I do, I give my life a million reasons to
Mm-hmm.
rejoice. I give my life a million reasons to get up again, to be optimistic and do things again with a difference. And another thing that drives me would be a smile. And smile is so important. My mom always says that always be happy, always wear a smile. Not because life is full of reasons to smile, but your smile itself is a reason for many others to smile. It is
Mm.
our smile that is a reason for thousands others to smile. It's
And
only when we smile the other person smiles.
another amazing thought again.